Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Maybe it's even evening. Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass and the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood coming live with you right here and ignite your joyful heart. Oh, I feel like I have a mic and I'm on the radio. Oh, come on in, come on in. Let's just make sure we're live right here on in our Facebook group before I get started. Why does my voice sound so high? I don't know. Oh, good morning. Hi, Diana. Hello, Michelle. Well, in the moment, we're working on saving the chickens. So I might get a phone call. I usually don't have my phone on at this time, but today is different. We have a cold snap that went through. We have baby chickens, and my father in law, who's 80 years old, is outside. Since I had this, putting in another heat light. And I'm like, hey, I got to go on. And so he's working on that right now. So he might call me. So in case my phone rings, you know why. So um, just wanted to say welcome to everybody. So just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and allow all things to fall away from this morning. Even me. Yes, it's rainy and my hands are cold and I'm not used to this cold weather. But however, it's okay, right? Some people are already upset because it's too cold, too quick, blah, blah, blah. And it's all about going with the flow, being grateful in the moment for what we have. We have the rains that came. Yes, it's cold, but it's okay. So why don't you, while we're waiting for more people to pipe on, how's your weather where you're at? Did you get a cold snap too? I know Colorado and Wyoming already have snowfall. So wherever you're at, how is it for you? Were you surprised by the weather last night, yesterday? We're just like, okay, do we have enough heat lamps for the chickens? Do we need to put straw out? Do we need this or that or this or that? And which, thank you. I forgot to put straw out this morning while I was making sure everything was fed. Now I got to go back out there. And that's why all natural today because of the rains. My hair I'm just letting it be, letting it do its thing. And so it's just been a busy morning. So where do I live? I live in Kansas. I live outside of Hayes, Kansas. We're halfway between Denver and Kansas City on I-70. We live south of Victoria. Victoria, Kansas has the Cathedral of the Plains. It's one of the 8 wonders of Kansas. So chilly here in Lincoln. Well, hey, Lou. Chilly here in Lincoln. Lincoln where? Lincoln, Nebraska? Lincoln, Kansas? What Lincoln? So, girl, I know you. Are you still running in the cold, wet weather? I still remember you, Lou, having that blanket on around you when I went to go work out because you were so cold because you ran in the cold, cold water. Lincoln, Nebraska. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous up there. My oldest daughter, Crystal, used to be a nanny in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it is gorgeous there. Yes, she's a runner. That's not my forte. I I more like pound, boom, boom, boom. You're such an inspiration, Luann. Thank you so much for joining. Sunny today in Cleveland, Ohio. You do get a lot of snow in the winter times, don't you, Michelle? I'd enjoy that sun, girl. Yeah, over the weekend, so it's a 3-day weekend for those of us here in the United States. We had over 2 miles of fence to put up. And wouldn't you know it, it was the hottest, felt like the hottest, windiest days of the whole summer, putting up that fence. And we got to get it up before we bring out home the cows. So those of you that, let me reintroduce myself. For those of you that are new to me, my name is Tammy Lee. I'm a highly intuitive, multidimensional facilitator and healer of transformation. And did I already say that? Let me start over. Oh my gosh, I'm already getting tongue-tied. Of transformation and healing experiences. Yeah, there's a lot of energy moving, and sometimes it combobulates my own self. So that's why I always say, let's just take a deep breath. Yeah, I realized this morning we didn't have enough lights. My father-in-law actually went to go buy another heat lamp because there wasn't enough in there because some of the chickens got smothered trying to get under the heat. I think that's him. Just a second, I'll be right back. Hello?
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's...
Nope. As I said, I thought my father-in-law might call me. That's why I have my phone, because he's out putting up another heat lamp. He's gonna let me know that he got it all taken care of. So kudos for him, this 80-year-old man that just keeps on going. Now he finally is using a cane. Yay, because we were always concerned about him as he wobbles. He would wobble when he walks. Which brings me to what we're talking about today. Accomplishment. Accomplishment of any type, any level of accomplishment. And actually, because as an intuitive, multidimensional, working on our energy, making shift happen, realizing our strengths and not overlooking them or overshadowing them. Can you name 3 accomplishments? And I'm like, even as small as making your bed in the morning, as small as brushing your teeth, because sometimes that's all a person can do. I have a client right now that's going through some major heartbreak. And then with that heartbreak, like she's just been torn open. And with that heartbreak, sometimes the only thing she can do is get out of bed. Sometimes the only thing she can do is make the bed. I'm sure we've all been there. I know I have. Once upon a time when I was 40-ish years old, I literally had to be helped out of bed because of the heartbreak I was going through. But it was more than the current life. It was a heartbreak of the soul, which led to my spirit dwindling. Now, those of you that have known me for a long time, I know you're like, what, Tammy? How could you have heartache? You're laughing all the time. You're joyous all the time. Working through that heartache. No longer denying it. Even if you don't understand it. I didn't understand why I was feeling depressed. But it was more than depressed. I didn't know it was a brokenness. There was nobody to talk to back in 18 years ago about stuff like this. I've been to counseling in my 30s. I ended up counseling the counselor. And then when they sent me a bill, I made that phone call real quick and said, no way am I paying for this. I counseled her in my session. So accomplishment. This is one of the things, this bar I keep right in my sacred space, because this bar, see how it's bent? I had a partner. One time I was at a conference. There was rubber plugs on each end to protect our throats. But we literally bent this rebar. Like I couldn't, there's no way I could. Rebar. This is what my husband puts in the ground when he does cement work. After doing a lot of deep work, energy work, we were set up in twos. You know, I haven't even talked about this in a very long time. This was back in probably 2005. So I really have never really shared this story, thinking like I never knew the importance of it. And that's one of the things about today is sharing our stories that we may not think they're important, but somebody else does. Somebody else thinks they're important. The fact that after doing, this is 6 feet long. It was. After doing a lot of work in the group that we were in, we picked partners. And there was one guy in there that just always so there was something about him. Finding out he's got the same birthday I do. I'm Tammy, he's Troy. And we're partners. And after doing a lot of work in the group, and then pairing up and looking into the depth of each other, into the souls of each other, into the spirit of each other, knowing when we were ready, because we put that pull right here on our necks. And the facilitator was really good. He tried to psych us all out. He really tried to psych us all out. And some people it was working with them. But there was something that rose up in me. That accomplishment. And we did the countdown. 3, 2, 1. And we went. And then the bar dropped. And we hugged each other on because of that accomplishment. Was it scary? You better believe it was scary. But what accomplishments do you have? Write them in the text chat. I want to see what kind of accomplishments that you have that you may be overlooking. We're really good at overlooking our own accomplishments. Because right now, right here, today, in this moment, I want you to bring your accomplishments forward. Bring your accomplishments forward. Just take that deep breath. Allow your eyes to travel down into your heart space. If you can only think of one right now, what's that one accomplishment? At least one that you can bring forth right now and be in the energy of that. Be in the energy of an accomplishment. Thank goodness I had mentors, and I still do, because I tend to overlook my own accomplishments. I just like, okay, done and go. Okay, done and go. Okay, done and go. And when we do that, when we don't take the time to bring that energy forward, to be in the energy of the accomplishment, it's as if we diminish our own self, our own being. And that's one of the things, ladies, that we require to stop doing. It's not just about talk, the self-diminishment of talk, how we talk to ourselves. It's about how we acknowledge ourselves. How do you acknowledge yourself? Great job, Diana, cleaning out the junk drawer in my kitchen this morning. I know that's a time-consuming job. I was just looking at ours this morning for a double-ended outlet for my father-in-law. He's like, yeah, I got one of them drawers at home. And I want you to be in the accomplishment. Like, Lou, you run every morning. Do you like just be in the, I know, they talk about runner's high, but like afterwards, do you allow the energy of that accomplishment to just permeate your cells on a deeper level? On a deeper level, do you bring that into your heart? I know the heart's beating from it, but the energy of it, the energy of the accomplishment. Because here's some of the thing, what keeps us from that? Sometimes we don't think it's good enough. Like, oh, okay, that's done. Okay, let me go on to the next. Like, we have a list that so many women get tied up in knots about. Well, if I get this and this and this done, then I can take time to honor the accomplishment. But then the energy from the first task fades. And the energy of that accomplishment, it's almost as if that part of us that created that accomplishment diminishes. Well, she doesn't care about that. Why should the energy, the beingness of who you are care? Sometimes we're the guide. Sometimes we're the ones that are guiding the ship. So when we bring that accomplishment in and we really be with it, not only does it help to raise our frequency, it adds more trust in a cellular structure level, in a spiritual level, in an emotional body level. It adds more substance, thank you for that word, to who we are. It's like our foundation, emotional, mental, spiritual, which goes into our physical foundation, is being solidified by taking the time to be in the acknowledgement of ourselves. Being in the acknowledgement of what we accomplish. Raises our frequency. Helps us to walk through life stronger and more solidified to where we can stay the eye of the storm. When we can stay that neutral place, what some people call the eye of the storm, because of all the chaos out here that's going on, and we don't get pulled into it. And one of the steps to do that, to become, because that's your sovereign being self. And one of the steps to do that is acknowledgement of self, acknowledgement of what we created, of what we are accomplishing. I remember working with one of my mentors, Melvin, back in, it'd be probably 2003 or 4 or 5, something like that. It's right after when I created my laugh CDs. I have laughter CDs. I have a really crazy, outrageous, incredible laugh. And I created 3 different CDs. One is Laugh It Off. And then I created an app, Laugh It Off app. Well, I remember calling in. I still remember. I was on, wasn't Walnut Street. I still remember exactly what street I was on in Hayes, Kansas, and listening to the radio, and it was call in for blah, blah, blah. And when I called in, I won the contest, and I'm cracking up laughing. And the DJ's like, what the heck? Oh my God, I love your laugh. Who is this? And I told him. He's like, oh, Tammy Lee, I love your laugh. Will you be on my radio show? Like, well, sure, yeah. So the next day I go and be on his radio show, or maybe it was later that day. But anyway, I was on his radio show. And I'm telling my mentor about this. Oh yeah, I was on a radio show, blah, 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 blah. And then, and this happened. And he's like, whoa, wait a minute, girl. Reel it back. And it took my mentor to help me to see this. He's like, Tammy, what did you just say? You were on a radio show? I'm like, yeah, why? It's like, girl, do you realize how incredible that is? Not just anybody that calls into the radio station is asked to be on the radio show. Oh, I didn't think about that. But he's the first one. I'm just like, he's one of the first ones that I can ever remember in my life. And that was what, maybe 15 to 18 years ago? $15 years ago-ish, that said, stop. You did what? Oh my gosh, we're going to celebrate this. Like, feel into that. Feel into that. So right now, those of you that are live, and even if you're listening to the replay, I want you to type in here, what accomplishment? Just one. Because you know when you're interactive and you type in, you actually encourage other women to be interactive too. And you might find something that you are acknowledging yourself for, that somebody else, you might like ding on somebody else that's like, oh yeah, well, I did that. Because do you understand what I'm saying, ladies? I got my kids off to school and they're all dressed and they all have their hair up. That's like a mom of 5. If somebody would have, wow, that has emotion with it. If we mamas would have acknowledged ourselves as young moms of how incredible we were. I didn't even know that was a possibility back then. Because it just seemed like that's what we're supposed to do. So much of the that's what we're supposed to do mentality, if we can turn that around and see all of those things that we're supposed to do, as simple as doing a load of laundry, getting it folded, put it in away. Yes, accomplishment. And then we celebrate ourselves. And if we can start to show, sometimes, so here's the thing, okay, so this is what's coming through. Sometimes we need to start acknowledging those simple tasks. They're simple, but man, they take a lot of energy and time. But when we can acknowledge ourselves for doing that, or we acknowledge, do you have a sister? Do you have a daughter? Do you have a niece? Do you have somebody? Excuse me. I'm still waiting for my father-in-law. Do you have somebody that you can acknowledge today? Because once you start acknowledging them for their tasks, for what they've completed, in that moment, turn it on yourself too and see what you can acknowledge yourself for. So here's a couple of things. Who can you acknowledge today? And what can you acknowledge about yourself today? Who can you acknowledge today for their simple little things? Because I can, and it's really interesting. That sound you heard was a text message from my daughter, Jenna, who's got 5 kids. So I know she's who I'm acknowledging today. She's got a part-time job working nights at the hospital. And yeah, I acknowledge her, but I know now to take it to a different level or to a different piece in her life of acknowledging her for being a mom, for doing her best, for being a mom of 5. When we acknowledge somebody else in their accomplishment, and think about, like, find something that is not obvious to that other person. What is in the same aspect, find something that is not obvious to yourself. So what is not obvious? What can you see right now? Carol, I'm just thinking all of a sudden you're walking. When you go walk. Yes, your card pulls each day. Bravo. I'm so proud of you. And then when we, so like when you walk also, Carol, because that's something you do daily. That's like a habit for you. But acknowledging yourself for that walk, you're just like, bam. So these everyday tasks that we do that are a habit, sometimes we overlook them because they're so in the norm for us. Taking that moment and deciphering, look at your day tonight before you go to bed. Look at your day and see the little things. I want you to start acknowledging those little things, because it's really easy to acknowledge the big things because they're out there. They're just out, they're like right in front of us. But the little things that we overlook, we usually overlook the little things. I don't know why there's so much. There's a lot of emotion that's coming up right here. So let's see. What are people acknowledging? Carol, her card pulls each day. I love, yes. Do you see how you are affecting other people, even if they don't say anything? And it's not whether or not somebody says anything. It's about us taking that step into something new and different. And for Carol, that was and is. And she's going to keep doing it in the month of September, aren't you, Carol? Oh. And I really appreciate it. It's bringing a new energy into the group. It's bringing more awareness or more opening for other people. The things I've learned, that even when people don't comment on whatever the post is, for example, I did a session with a lady back in January. I knew it was an emergency. I just offered it. She asked me how much I owed her after it was done. I said, whatever you desire. Didn't hear nothing. If you desire, I didn't do this to get money. I just knew she needed it. And I was there, and I could feel the calling within me. Over 6 months later, just 3 weeks ago, she contacted me. Now, she has not made any comments on any of my Facebook posts. And she says, Tammy, your posts have brought me so much joy. And I'm like, wow. I didn't even know she was reading them. I didn't even know she was like, because she's not made any comment to me for over 6 months. And then she says, what's your email so I can send you something over PayPal? So out of the blue, and it wasn't even anything I was expecting, but her acknowledging me. Here's the thing, because even I go through times that I wonder if I'm doing things, if I'm touching enough people, if I'm moving enough spirits, if I'm lighting up others. I wonder that. Just because I like what I'm putting out there doesn't mean anybody else would. And her acknowledgement of me just instantly brought tears of joy to my eyes. And that's what I really want to bring home today, is the fact of when we acknowledge other people, when we acknowledge how they touch us, how they move us. But we also need to do that with ourselves, of how delighted we are within our spirit, within our, because when we acknowledge ourselves, it's the complete opposite of diminishing ourselves. It just like turns everything around and lifts us up and expands us. And when we're in that kind of energy, all that chaos around us, even if we're going through some really heartache times, we might still feel a heartache, but it's not paralyzing us anymore. Doesn't keep us stuck. When we acknowledge ourselves for who we are, for our little accomplishments, we break the chains that keep us stuck. Let me repeat that. When we acknowledge ourselves for the accomplishments we have done, as small and minute as they are, we break the chains that keep us stuck. We make the shift happen. How many of you can already start to feel that just by bringing in, just by acknowledging, just by posting right here? Can you feel the energy shifting already? So let's see what else people are saying here. That's kind of odd that some of the comments are disappearing. Let's see if I enlarge it, if I can get to them.
Like,
Oops.
ding.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's see. So Diana, as I already said, cleaning out the junk drawer in her kitchen this morning. So, and I want you to just feel that accomplishment. Do you have a junk drawer? Do you have a closet that could just feel, even if you haven't done it, but being with Diana right now in that energy of that accomplishment, like, yes. Do you feel that energy of, like, you can see it before and you see it after? It's like it has its own breath, like the drawer has its own breath. And that's what helps facilitate the change within us. When we acknowledge these different things of our accomplishments and we truly, truly, truly acknowledge them, it's like new space happens. New energy is able to be felt into our cellular structures of who we are. Michelle was able to achieve stillness, and something she has not been able to do in quite a while. That's big. Carol, her card pulls each day, meaning the card pulls she puts here in our group, Ignite Your Joyful Heart. I know that's huge, girl. Yeah, a little prodding. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it took us to do it. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need that help. I needed help. I still do. And that's why I believe in mentors. And that's why I created, part of the reason I created the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood program. Because in there, as some of you that are, sometimes we mentor each other, not just about me teaching. It's truly a sacred sisterhood. That's what we're building. And maybe some of you belong there with us. Just reach out to me and we'll have a chat. So today, I'm going to even play it for you. That's okay. That's another reason why I have my phone on. Gosh, I'm about ready to cry. So we created this laugh out. Wow. Well, okay. So let me back up. Oh. You guys can all hear me, right? So when I had my Laugh app, when I had my Laugh CDs, I'm sitting in a restaurant with two guys and they hear me laugh. And one of them, Brian, says, "Oh my God, you need to make an app out of that. Your laugh is crazy." And I'm like, "You can do that?" Like, I had no clue. So this was over 15 years ago. See what accomplishments can do? Okay, so I would search and search and search. Wow. And I would have people say, "Oh, they can help me. Oh, Tammy, I can help you." And nobody ever took it to the final ending where people could actually download it. All these people that would say, so I put it on the back burner for years. And then 4 years ago, maybe 5, I brought it back. And I'm like, okay, it's time. I got to create this laugh app. I ended up finding somebody in my own backyard, pretty much. Andrew created the laugh app. And it's because one of my most audacious goals is to literally see Mama Earth. It's actually a vision that came to me that because my laughter is pretty incredible, that with the laughter that comes through me and with me, that there's so many people around the earth laughing so much that she's literally bouncing up and down in the universe. That's one of my most audacious goals before while I'm still alive, is to, like, I can already hear the commercials or the scientists like, "We don't know what, this is a new phenomenon. The earth is bouncing. Like, she's got this movement, like she's bouncing out in the universe." Like I can already feel and sense and know that's happening. And the scientists are just like, "What is that? Why is this happening? This is new." And I'm thinking, oh no, it's not. It's all the laughter. Because Mama Earth is now laughing too. Okay. So I get this. So I've always been wondering, how can I put a clip of laughter on my Facebook page? And I could never figure it out, no matter how many times I would like, oh, well, maybe I can just take a clip off my computer and put it on as a post, but it would never work. Anything I could think of. And then I found somebody. And she sent me this today. This is an accomplishment. And see, I needed help to make this accomplishment came true. Blah. Wow. See that emotion, but see the acknowledgement right now. Okay. So let's see. Can you see this? So now I'm even gonna, I think you can see, like, she's got 6 of them, and I'm just gonna click on it. Oh, I guess I need to turn up my volume. It's just a simple little thing that, but it made, oh, I think there's a glare. But it made, like, I finally got the clips now that I can put on my Facebook page. Just if I can help somebody laugh. Because my laugh of what was, has saved lives, has literally saved lives. We don't know. We just don't know, right? How we affect others. But just, and a simple acknowledgement can save a life, can save somebody from going into a deep, dark depression. Maybe it would have saved me had I been acknowledged for all the different little things I did. Or me acknowledging me, because that's what helps us become sovereign. But it seemed like it was such like a duty. Thank you. That's it. We think it's a duty that we look past it. That it's not an accomplishment, something to acknowledge when we think it's a duty. No, we still have a choice. So see, that is a major accomplishment. And I can tell that by just sharing that, acknowledging me, this accomplishment, that even though it's been years in the making, years in the wanting, years of the in the intentionality of it coming to fruition. When we acknowledge that, whew, when we acknowledge those things, I could slough that off like, oh, good, it's done. Okay, next. Now my nose is running because the tears are coming. But stop. And so when we acknowledge that, like just bringing in that energy, and you can feel your spirit. When you take that energy of the acknowledgement down, 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 into your heart, into your solar plex, when you open yourself up to the energy of acknowledgement. And how many of you, okay, so like it's permeating me now. Like my Laugh app, like it's its own entity, right? Its own energy. Like it is excited that I didn't give up. That I kept that intention, even though I just like let it go. I surrendered to it. I surrendered to however this is going to happen. And eventually, in the right timing, with the right people, with me voicing things, with me asking, that the question goes out there. And the universe knows I'm really serious about this. Because I know that I know that I know Mama Earth will be bouncing. Even if it's just the slightest movement that we can't see with the naked eye from, say, the Hubble, whatever thingy that's satellite. But they'll be able to tell on their Richter scales or whatever, whatever those machines are devices are that they, wow, I had no idea there was going to be all this emotion. But see, when we acknowledge ourselves, and here's another thing, acknowledge ourselves in front of others. By doing that, you give permission. You give permission to others. You give and be in your heart space when you do this, so they know it's sincere from from yourself to yourself. That way it shows our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews. It shows others, our moms, our sisters. Yeah, people at first might think you're full of it. I don't know. Don't let that keep you from doing that. So what else can stop you? It's like, who am I to say that I'm this good? Who am I to brag? Who am I, like all that garbage that would be put upon us growing up that kept us from acknowledging ourselves and our accomplishments. Let that crap go. Because your spirit, your soul wants you to start acknowledging you so it can grow stronger within you. I had no idea I was even going to talk about the Laugh app and these little clips. It just like popped in. Oh yeah, okay. See how I received that this morning, and I was already like wasn't even thinking about sharing that with you all, and it popped in my head of the accomplishment. Like, wow. I'm so proud of myself. And I can feel, I can hear beyond me and who you all see, who you think Tammy is. Beyond me, I can feel this celebration happening. See, when we just take those simple steps, our spirit, our body, like other things take over for us. The celebration is even bigger. Like there's more of us than what we even know. And that celebration is already happening inside when we just stop to acknowledge. So let's see what else people said. I acknowledge my daughter, Carol. This is Carol. I acknowledge my daughter who is working hard at her schoolwork, which is a struggle for her at times. So have you personally done that, or are you going to tell her how you're acknowledging her? Just curious. And Michelle's like, true. I feel like it always has to be a huge thing. And when we can get out of that mindset, you know, and here's some magic. Because it's the little things others don't see. Awesome, Carol. It's the little things you see. It's the little things you do. Like brushing your teeth, if you do. It's those little things. And when we start to acknowledge those little things, just think about all the little things you do to be where you're at right now. My oldest granddaughter, Naomi, I know when she puts on her makeup, she's very particular about makeup. She could be probably one of the world's greatest makeup artists with just a little bit more training. Like she's got makeup artists that comment on her makeup. That's how good she is at it. And she practices. But she acknowledges herself when she's done, when she's when she has created her masterpiece on her face. Excuse me. Which grows her confidence, which has her become more solid in who she is. So I encourage you, 5 small things. 5 small things. What's 5 small things that you can acknowledge yourself about? As simple as getting out of bed. As simple as doing a load of laundry. Your systems are waiting. Your beingness is waiting for this new level. Like so many of this is new for so many of us. Is it new for you? Is it new for you to acknowledge the small pieces in your life? To just start with that. And even like the things that we don't even think that they're big. Like the fact that I wasn't even going to share this, laugh it off little recordings. I mean, like that had already slipped away. And I wasn't even knowing what I was going to talk about before I came on here. I just was asking. And the word acknowledgement, like boom, 5 minutes before I got on, I'm like, okay, acknowledging self, acknowledging self. Remember, when we start to acknowledge who we are on every aspect, with every aspect of who we are, we become more solid. We become more sovereign. We can walk in this incredible sacred energy day in, day out. We become the eye of the storm because we're stronger. We facilitate change within us and around us when we acknowledge ourselves. We facilitate change within us and around us when we acknowledge ourselves. Let's keep this chat going. Let's keep this conversation going right here in this Facebook group. Start typing in more things, ladies, of what you acknowledge yourself for. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today. This has been so much fun. And thank you for just letting me go wherever this is leading us today. If this helps you, I would love to know, is there something you want me to talk about? Is there some kind of subject, some kind of something from A to Z? I'm not afraid to talk about nothing. Sex and orgasm? You bet. Ask my girls. We talk about everything. Oh, why do I just have a slang there all of a sudden? Acknowledge of self breaks the chains that keep us stuck. Do you see all those different pieces of acknowledge ourselves? Of all those different little pieces I mentioned here in this 1 hour of how it just creates a sovereign being. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining today. I love you. I love you. I love you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I got your back. This is Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass and the Emerald Compass Sacred Sisterhood. Have a great week, everyone. I'm here for you. Just reach out.